Yeah, man. So, you think it's just a conspiracy then? The whole thing with pushing that Donald Trump had colluded with Russia?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I'm not well educated enough on the issue, but like, I'm not sure how the Russian government gained from Donald Trump being president, other than like, now just everyone's laughing at us, and our country seems to be like embroiled in a lot of like social and political strife. But at the same time, it doesn't seem to affect like major metropolitan areas, which where like most people live anyway. And it's still basically business as usual. And I imagine everyone's still making money. So I would have to see, for me to believe that Russia would do that, I guess someone would have to tell me like who directly benefited, like who, like beyond like Donald Trump just being president. It didn't. I don't think Donald Trump, when he initially ran, it seemed like he was running like as a joke, and it just got carried away.
Yeah, he was actually surprised, or you could almost say that he was surprised by the results, because he wasn't like enthused when they were taking pictures or like shots of them as the results were coming
No.
out, and I don't know, man. Like, it really seems like he might have had interactions with the Russians solely as like a civilian, just like working towards getting something done for his company before he became president. And then since he wasn't super specific as to whether or not he was gonna have a blind trust, so that he would not have any dealings with the Russians that would interfere with political policies or political agenda, then it left that void in an era of ambiguity where people can think that whatever he does or whatever he's been doing that is not disclosed to the public can be seen as like collusion with the Russians. But obviously you can speak to like Russian ambassadors or to their delegates. The only thing that you're not supposed to really share is classified information. And there was the whole incident where Donald Trump declassified information by a sort of roundabout way because he divulged that information to the Russian ambassador.
Yeah.
And I know that that was like one of the things that CNN was harping on before, and a lot of more liberal media.
No.
Because I mean, there is an actual procedure that you have to go through in order for you to declassify information, and then.
So why did he declassify? What did he declassify?
It was just like it had to do with sanctions or like measurements that we were gonna impose on Russia, or like the goods that we do trade with them.
Yeah.
And normally you wouldn't really disclose that information, and also information, if I remember correctly, with our allies. So like whenever we make plans, normally all the information stays classified for a little while, it gets evaluated, and then redacted, right? And then that's the information that gets shared. And the only problem was that because he like did it carelessly, we got into the situation where you don't know whether or not he is even aware that
that's like a law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure somebody told him, like, he has to have some sort of staffing agent or like someone in his cabinet who's like, hey, by the way, Mr. Trump, like, you can't do that. But I know he fired a shitload of people.
Yeah. When he came in, he decided that even from the beginning, before he was in, that he didn't like how Obama was running a lot of things. So a lot of the staff that was there was picked by Obama. So he wanted to clean the house, put new people in that would help him realize the vision that he had, which, admirable as it can be, is somewhat twisted on the other side if like the people that were there like originally hoping already had like systems in place so that they could move forward with like Planned Parenthood and all that good stuff. The problem was that it just happens with every new president. They can come in and put new staff in.
Yeah.
But whoever they put in normally has like has a bigger presence, and they help them out so that they're there to make the president look good. They're there to bring out the better qualities of the president.
Yeah.
Not there to hurt the cabinet or the president's image. And that's why General Flynn, and when he was like going all roundabout and interacting with the Russians again,
Yeah.
something that seemed careless, or I think it was careless, but not necessarily illegal, unless like you can go in detail as to what he truly did with them. All of this reflects bad on the president and everyone that said, yeah, you should appoint him to be the Secretary of Defense, right? So it's one of those things where he surrounded himself with the people that were supporting him throughout the campaign, the people that were easily not necessarily manipulated, but they could easily be on his side on any issue. And since the Republicans were successful in getting both the House and the Senate and the presidency, legislation should be forward a lot faster. There shouldn't be a problem where it comes to like ratifying bills and getting healthcare passed to where it's one of those things that meets the requirements that Donald Trump has for in his vision, and also meets the expectations that the whole party had. The problem is that Donald Trump is not necessarily a Republican, and he is not a liberal either. He's somewhere in the middle in a lot of like views. He's just really erratic in the way that he decides to do things. And the Republicans already had a plan to ratify like a new healthcare bill, but in order for like new law to happen now, they have to convince the opposition that what they're doing is good. But they don't even have to do that because they have majority in all three branches. But in order for it to not be like half of the country to hate on them and have like their opinions changed, they have to like, make it so that people are on board with what the plan is. That's why when the first draft for the new Trump care came out, and the CBO was that there were going to be 24 million people left without insurance. After it got implemented, people freaked out. I think it was more even like with the lack of coverage for people with previous conditions. The thing is, when they did that, they didn't really think that they needed to worry about what other people think or what other people were thinking about the bill. They just wanted to come up with whatever was like the best thing at the time to replace Obamacare, and then.
So what do they not like about Obamacare? That like what do they like? So I guess I'm a little confused. Is like so when they're making these plans, are they just like we just don't want to make something that way? Like we want to do insurance this way. Like what's their idea behind their insurance plan? Like, what makes it different?
From what I can understand, that like they've been pushing since 2008 or 2009 when like it first became an idea and like started moving forward for Obamacare, was that it's too much of like social system. Like it gives too much to people, like too much aid, and they don't like that. And it forces people to have insurance. They didn't like that. It was too much of like socialized healthcare. Like, it was as close to socialized healthcare as it could be in their eyes. They do not believe socialized healthcare should be a thing in the U.S. They think that that takes away from the people that are hardworking and that actually put an influx of like money into the economy and then redistributes that wealth to the people that don't have like the or not as well off or not investing too much money into the system because it's supposed to be one of those things where like you inject money into society so that you can get more out, but they don't believe in that. They believe in like trickle down economics where like you help the upper class and then that money will work itself down to just general public and everyone else who's not making more than 100K a year. So you can see that with any plan that comes out. I mean, it's not horribly bad. Like they're definitely trying to get the agenda out there where if you're a businessman or you're companies, you are being favored so that you don't have to like take the burden. Like I said, to be.
So, I guess also so I've talked with some of my friends who are like Republican or the right leaning, and they view it as like the government stealing from you, like collecting taxes for things that they don't personally take part in, like social welfare programs. I guess a form of socialized medicine. But it seems to me the only people that can really afford to shoulder a lot of that burden are people who are very wealthy. Mm-hmm. Like, if I had $100 million, and let's say, let's say I make that every year, and they tax like, I don't know, I pay $15 million in taxes a year. I still have so much money that there's no again, you have $100 million, even if you were taxed to 99% of it, it's still $1 million a year in a scenario where you're making $100 million a year. Who cannot possibly fucking live on that? Like I'm just saying, because a lot of it is like, dude, how much money do you really need? Like, I get, like, you're making the money, but it's not like you personally are going out and having to bust your back. It's not like, if you're making $100 million an hour, it's like you just never sleep again.
Right.
It's more so like you're really not putting a lot of like real physical, chemical energy into doing anything every day. You've paid a bunch of other people to invest your money or do whatever, and it's like, I'm not saying that like it's not good that you did that, but it also seems a lot of that money also gets put away in like offshore trusts and doesn't really get touched or taxed, and it just seems that the only people who really shoulder a lot of burden are pretty much everybody else. Like where it's like, well, dude, like you take 15% of my money, like I will fill that because I don't have so much that I can just pay for everything. Because like after a certain point, generally everything you need is not going to keep getting more expensive. Like when I used to be really, really broke, like my buying habits haven't really changed, but when I used to be like really, really broke, it was difficult to do everything I wanted to do. Like I honestly didn't have money, and like even an extra $20, I'm like, fuck, man. Now that I have more money, buying habits haven't changed, I can do whatever I want. I have a lot of liquid income, and if I were to make $1 million, I don't see why my habits would change that much either. So again, like dudes living in like $10 million houses, they have like yachts and shit. I fail to see why they should have all that stuff. And I fail to see why they should not shoulder the burden for people who just honestly aren't in their position. Because it seems like most people get in that position through either inherited wealth, just straight up luck, or honestly, they come from a family that really just set them up every step of the game. Like, I don't think there's that many real self-made people. And if they are, they probably were just relatively opportunistic, and dice rolled well for them. Like, I don't know. I don't understand the Republican mentality of like, well, we don't want to have to pay for anything. And it's like, no, dude. It's like, let's all chip in, and we'll just pay for socialized programs. We have a shitload of money, and it's just like the more people that aren't having to pay stuff for medical bills, those people like they'll have that money to buy shoes and shit. It's just like, I guess I fail to understand the level of entitlement. Beyond like I just get to have everything I want, and it's a lot of times fairly unreasonable. And it's like, women can't get abortions. It's like that's an unreasonable demand to place on everybody else. Gay people can't get married, and it's like there's no reason to have this as some sort of platform. Like I guess it wasn't anymore. Like smoking pot's bad. It's like it just isn't. Like I don't know. It's like we should. I don't know. Like I guess I don't know. Like literally everything that they're really about in terms like socially, it's like an issue that they shouldn't even have like really an opinion on. Like it shouldn't matter what people do. It shouldn't matter what our individual culture is like, or whether or not people deserve to get health care or not. Like if it was really just about making the economy do well and sustaining this like free market society, why would you give a shit? One, what color people are, what gender people are. Why would you give a shit that like you have millions of dollars, you like chip in more for healthcare because you have the amount to shoulder the burden, and now more people are capable of like buying products and like using whatever. Like, I don't know. I guess I personally do not understand where the mentality comes from of like, well, I got mine, fuck everybody else. Like this one guy I was talking to on Facebook. He was like, everybody has everything they need to get ahead in life. There's a library, there's the internet, and it's like, yeah, dude, but that's really fucking hard. Like, sit there and teach yourself everything, how to do everything. Very few people are capable of doing it. And I see a lot of these dudes spout shit like that, and it's like they've never actually had to work like that before. Right. And they demand other people to do it. It's kind of the same thing as like in San Francisco, people are making like 120 grand saying like, we just can't afford to raise a family. It's just too expensive. And it's like, fuck you, man. Like, then leave. And everyone's like, well, I should leave, like, but this is where all my friends are. It's like, we tell poor people that are in gentrifying communities just to fucking leave. And it's like, so why don't you fucking leave?
Right.
You don't make enough money to live here. Fucking move. I don't know. That's super tangent.
No, I mean, to add to that point, Jason Chaffetz actually proposed that there should be a stipend for senators. That, because basically he is not making enough money. He makes like $150,000 or more per year, but that's not enough to maintain the house that he has, the family, and then the apartment he has is a seat. And because he's not making enough money, he wants to get free money from the government, which is not necessarily taxed the same way, because it would be a stipend, so there wouldn't be less, if not no taxes on it. So there's definitely, I guess, a double standard when it comes to that, because they, to your point of Republicans being entitled to like not be responsible for anyone else, they would say that because anyone else who's not well off wants help from them, that person is the entitled one. Yeah. The more liberal you are, the more entitled you are, because you are entitled to handouts, entitled to receiving help without doing anything to deserve it.
Yeah.
That I see it as the argument that they present to pretty much everyone in their camp. So you're like, look, you see all these spoiled kids that are going off to college and learning about all these different cultures and how like everyone's oppressed, everything is racist, and like there's all these genders and our way of life and what we're used to is no longer what should rule over this land. Yeah. We have to make America great again, go back to where our roots were, and get rid of all this entitlement. Yeah. So I see where like there was a push, and you see hook to grab the attention of people, and I mean it exists in most of the people that oppose just a liberal agenda or a more like libertarian idea, just being in the middle.
I guess, dude, but that's just really hard. Like, again, like people advocating like make your own business, dude. It's like that's very fucking difficult. And even if you do everything correctly, there is no guarantee. Even there's not even like like a good chance. Like 90% of startups fail. Like the vast majority. Like, and so it's just like, yeah, just make your own business. And it's like, motherfucker, you didn't make your own business. Like, I don't know, man. I got buddies talking to me like his first job out of school was making like 120 grand.
Damn.
And he was a petroleum engineer, worked there for a few years, fucking hated it, and now he's like going back to law school. But he's like, yeah, dude, he's like, I just don't think I should have to pay. And it's like, but dude, people like legit fucking struggle. Like they just aren't as intelligent as you. They just didn't make those decisions for whatever reason. They didn't have the support network. Or dude, they're just not as capable. Like, dude, some people are dumb. Like some people are not good at life. I met tons of people where all they're really good at doing is basically just doing drugs and working at a bar sometimes. And that's it, man. They're nice people, but that's like all they can do. You know, and it's like they're not going to be a mathematician, they're not going to be a physicist, that's not them. And so it's just like demanding that everybody in our society not only has to have a function, which is fine, like have a job, like, but it has to be of incredibly high value. It's like, well, dude, who's going to fix your fucking car? Like, who is going to work at the fucking bar? Like, what is the libertarian model for how society looks when it's just like the only jobs that people should really try and get are these like, lawyer, like, I don't know, man. Like
just upper level.
Yeah, just like everything's upper level. Like when I was in Norway, like everybody seemed to have have some sort of trade. And they all make like a modest amount of money, but everyone seemed to have a house. Generally, everything. A lot of them seemed kind of bored, but it's just because Norway's dark for 7 months of the year. But like, it's just
yeah. But I feel as though they have like a simpler take on life. Like people can have like a lower skill job, or what you would consider lower skill here, like if they're a baker or a mechanic or whatever, but they enjoy what they do, and it's like
because they basically just want to be in their house, like go skiing and just not be fucked with. And I think like in America, like people just want to get laid and
get a lot of dope, a lot of money.
Get a lot of money, but like to do what? Like that's another thing. It's like get a lot of money to do what? I would like a lot of money to do certain things. Like I would like to live in a certain place, or I would like to like fund a project. But other people are like, I'm just gonna make as much money as I can. Like fucking why? Like to me, it's like I would rather make what I make right now, but never ever have to leave my apartment or like work like an hour a week. Like to me, it's like your free time is really where you should aim at. Like how much free time? Like what can I do? Like what experience am I having? Am I having fun? Like why is it necessary to get as much money as possible? When dude, like all like, especially Republicans, like what do you do with your time, man? Like you want a big truck, you like tits, you drink like fucking Coors or Budweiser, and generally it's like that's it, dude. You don't do anything, even if you're making a lot. You're just working all the time for no fucking reason, and you will fucking die. And they're like. It's like whether there is or there isn't anything after death, like nobody fucking knows, but I probably wouldn't bet on it. Like it just seems ridiculous why anybody would invest like that much time to like I'm just gonna work and it's just gonna be my job and it's just like this is what we're gonna do and it's just but now dude, if you're just like a drone or whatever, I don't know, because I can't even do the old Republican. I can't even just pick a place and just work there forever.
Actually, I think what some Republicans see is a bastardized take on like the Christianity view that you have to be like a beacon of hope, or like the model for people to aspire to, and that you are like of this world, but you're not. Or like you're in this world, but you're not of this world. You're supposed to be beyond like earthly things, even though like you crave riches and you're flawed. So they accept that they're flawed, but they get trapped in a loop. Like you just said, driven by vices and other needs that are not necessarily their own. They live to work and feed their addictions, whatever it may be. But they restrict their actual views on anything else because it does not fit into that nice schema where it's their way or the highway.
Yeah.
I mean, we could say that from the other side too, but it's more apparent
Yeah.
with Republicans. Because if you're somewhat liberal or you have a more open mind and be in the middle, you can concede that there's things that you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And see that there's things that the other side is doing wrong. And I'm pretty sure that's where we need to be instead of, oh no, fuck everyone,
Yeah.
I am getting laid, I'm getting a lot of money, and I am enjoying my life, whatever that may be, even though I don't know what I'm gonna do with any of this
Yeah.
in the end.